Point number one is this. If your faith is not strong enough to move your mouth, it will not be strong enough to move your mountain. Are you listening to me? If your faith is not strong enough to move your mouth, if you cannot release out of you what God has placed on the inside of you, then your faith will not be strong enough to move your mountain. How many of you got some mountains you need moved? 3 people. Okay, that's the 3 people I'm talking to. Maybe I'm talking online today. But I believe I'm standing in a place where there's some people that have things that need to be moved. There's some seasons that you're praying that God closes and some seasons that you're praying that God opens. And guess what? It's only activated through your voice. See, your faith knows your voice, and your faith will follow what your voice says because it's voice activated. But the only way that your faith can be activated by your voice is you have to be open to being used by God. And I wonder, am I talking to anybody that understands if my faith is not strong enough to move my mouth, it surely won't be strong enough to move my mountain. Your faith has to be strong enough to move your mouth in order for it to be strong enough to move your mountain. Mark chapter 11, verse 23, we see Jesus say the same thing, but he's using 3 different Greek words. When he first says say, he's talking about the Greek word epo, which means to command like a general. As a believer, you have the authority and the ability to command your words and send them to the place that you need them to be. He says, say to the mountain, which means command to your mountain. Utilize the authority that God has given you to tell that thing what you want it to do and expect it to happen in faith. It says the same thing 3 different ways, utilizing 3 different words. Say, epo. The second word that he utilizes is saith, which means laleo, which means to use your voice. You have to utilize your voice to activate your faith. What I'm doing right now is I'm stirring your faith, but only you can activate it. My voice may stir your faith, but your voice activates it. See, not only do you command your faith, but you have to activate your faith. You have to own your faith. You have to grow your faith, and those things are grown through your voice. It's okay to hear someone else tell you what you should do, but it's something supernatural about hearing yourself, stir yourself, and moving your faith from one place to the next. And I wonder, is there anybody that understands my voice is powerful, my words have power, and my faith is activated when I use my words? And the third version of this, he says, say, saith, and saith again. And the third word is a very familiar word that we use called Legos. That store that you take your kids and your grandkids to. Legos. Do you ever see the box of Legos? And the box is so well put together, you think to yourself, this is going to be easy. Everything I need is in this box. You open the box, 1,000,000 pieces fall out. And your kid looking at you like, I can't wait for you to put this together. And you thinking to yourself, I'm not going to put this together. Legos. And what this Greek word means is God gives you the pieces for your future. We look at these Legos and, man, they're just all over the place. My son saw me taking his Lego set apart this morning. He almost had a panic attack. He started asking me questions like the tax collector. When can I expect it back? When I get home, son. Well, what are you doing with it? I said, I'm using it to build something. Well, what are you building? You have to watch service and see. But God gives us these pieces. and our words put them together. And the more we utilize our words to activate our faith, the more it begins to frame our world. See, this word Lego means pieces for a frame. And when we stir our faith by activating our words, the pieces begin to come together. And what looked like it didn't make sense before begins to take shape. What looked like it was impossible to bring together before begins to look very possible when we utilize our words to activate it. And before, this was just a bunch of little pieces in that little box. But because I put it together, now it's a nice little frame for this little Lego man right here. See, our words frame our destiny. I know it doesn't make sense utilizing this little Lego set, but I got some help. Can I get those that I've asked to help me real quick? Just real quick. We won't take long demonstrating this, but I want to show you what our words do. When we activate our faith by activating our words, we take our words and it begins to frame up our future. Our frame of perspective is always put in place by the words that we have. And so when we begin to say things like, God, I believe, therefore I will receive. You can stretch your hand out right there, grab her hand. Look at that, look at here, look at here. We're gonna move some pieces around. Grab her hand, Pastor Anderson. Come on up here, Ryan. Look at this. And it makes a frame. And you know what happens to me when I frame my world with my words? I get boxed into it. And I have a boundary set around me. So the things that are disturbing on the outside can't get inside of my frame because I've positioned my faith to frame my world that's been activated by my faith. And guess what happens? When I get down, the words of faith that I've covered cover me so things on the outside can't come on the inside. I can bump up against it and it keeps me protected. It keeps me safe. And the best thing about it, no matter what's going on around me, the enemy can't get in because I'm framed by faith. Is there anybody that's willing to utilize your voice to activate your faith, to frame your world, to see what it is that God has for you to see? Come on, can y'all give my help a round of applause? Thank y'all so much.